Welcome to Ignite India Education, the India's largest online design education platform. Subscribe to our channel to get first access to exclusive content and new class announcements. Today's session faculty expert is Mr. Anantacharya, famous renowned exam strategist and aptitude test trainer. Today's session we will learn about aptitude test of NIFT, NID, NATA, CEED, bachelor's, master's entrance exams. This session is helpful for all kind of entrance exam preparation. If you wish to join our online class, please call on 9972046911. Please check details in video description. Also, we have shared links if other situation test sessions you may watch will be very helpful for your presentation. WhatsApp group link is shared in description. Join the group and share your work for feedback. Let's start the session.
Good evening, everyone. Hi, Anand sir, are you here with us? Can you hear us?
Yes, Rimjim, I'm here.
Okay, your voice is echoing a little bit. The rest is, can you on your video also so that we can have a quick checkup and then we'll start the session? So Anand sir, we welcome you here. For students whose this is the first session, we have with us today Mr. Anand sir, who is an XLRI postgraduate and is a trainer for Aptitude, and we welcome you here, sir. He has a great experience and today he'll be taking introduction to numbers. I please during the process keep your speakers on mute and please listen carefully. Hope you all have a diary or notebook to write down while he's sharing his screen and teaching you all. Hello, sir. You can.
Hello, Anand sir.
Hi, Krishna.
How are you?
Krishna, your audio is bad.
Yeah, thank you. How's your cat and other classes are good? Yeah, I think I should better. Now it's better, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah. So how's your other classes going on, sir? MBA classes, CAT and MAT and so many GRE. You teach for so many courses. Even law exam is there, na, after a month.
Right.
Yeah. So what do you suggest other students? Maybe here also we may have some student for law, management, other courses. So what do you suggest? Almost from last 2 decades you are in this industry. So what do you suggest them?
Most of the students would be clear on what they really want to do. But in case you want to keep an option open, you should always have an alternative option open, right?
Yeah.
Alternate option should not be engineering or medicine always.
Yeah. Especially for law, sir, because law ka jo entire syllabus has changed this year.
Like, I know, science students has rahe hain when I say engineering and medicine always. But nevertheless,
Yeah.
I should always tell this that, see, even though I'm an engineer, I say people not to do engineering, right? Because of the fact that if you don't do what you really love doing, then you will end up doing what you don't love doing in your career.
Yeah.
True. It's important, but it's saying that it's also important for us to have a backup plan, because knowing in NIFT and NID, the kind of seats available in these schools are limited. And the kind of number of people who are writing these exams are basically more.
Yes, true.
And you don't want to get into a grade B or a grade C school and then figure out what you want to do in a career when you're in the peak of your career. So it's always better that you have a second option, and then you can always come back. You can always come back. And NIFT, NID, all these courses, the good part is you have bachelor's and you have master's to it. So even if you miss the bachelor's, you can come back to master's.
Yeah.
Right. But then don't end up doing a wrong choice in bachelor's or ultimately a wrong choice in master's, because once master's is over, then there is no rectification.
Yes.
Right. True. To all the listeners, this is one quick story of mine, right? So I'm an engineer. Don't ask me why, don't ask me how, because I myself don't know. Okay. I always liked doing management as a course, So I was an engineer and I did all my sundry work software an engineer can do. But post that, I realized that it's time to change, and that's when the management course came over. So the good part happened is the management happened from the top-notch school in the country, right? So XLRI that I am talking about is the top 3 ranked college in this country to do an MBA from.
Yeah. Yes, sir, yes.
And the good part is once that happens, no one bothers whether you are an engineer, whether you are a science graduate, 10th mein kitna marks liya, nobody is interested, right? So it just clears your entire sin that you have done in your lifetimes. So all of you who are preparing for bachelor's, good, all the best, keep focused and keep your best. But saying that, don't get disheartened if you do not break through that particular pathway, because that journey is going to come again after 3 years of your bachelor's. So you can pursue that journey again later stage, right? But you got to be very focused and you got to be very clear on kaun sa school mein ya which college I have to do it, because that is very important, right? That's your brand name. That's a brand that you're talking about. That's a brand so for example, if anyone comes to you and says, tell me about yourself, what do you say? You say your name and you talk about the school that you're studying in. So that school gets associated with your brand, right? It's a brand that you're carrying. So now when you do your bachelor's, that's another brand that you're going to carry. And when you do a master's, that's the final brand that you're going to carry, assuming that not all of us would like to go into PhDs kind of a level. Okay? So make choices, make good choices, and don't make hasty decisions. Done?
Thank you, Mr. Anant. Yeah. So today we are starting a quant, right?
Yeah, there is nothing else I can teach.
So, yeah, okay. Thank you. Over to Anand. So we will start the session now. Thank you, sir.
Okay, right. So this is for all of you. We are going to begin with a new session. Last time we did something like a quick understanding of, how squares can be done type of a thing. But today we are going to get in depth into a topic called numbers. Now, why is this important? As I said, you got to keep your options open, but no option is easy to crack. So every option that you keep open has a hurdle which is called as an aptitude test, right? And every aptitude test unfortunately varies in terms of not only the syllabus, but the level of questions that comes in. Okay, it keeps on varying. So it's important for me to know that, okay, I study this topic. It is not because NIFT is not asking. It is not because NID is not asking. It is not because UCEED is not asking. Tomorrow, something else may come up where I really want to apply, and that may change its entire coursework. Okay. And second thing is, as you guys know, that tests and the pattern in which test is conducted can change every year. So कोई सरफिरा बंदा आ जाएगा NIFT और NID में बोलेगा मुझे मैथ्स टेस्ट करना है बच्चों का, राइट? सिचुएशन टेस्ट हटा दो, सिर्फ मैथ्स ही टेस्ट करेंगे, क्या करोगे? So you never know. So you got to be ensuring that what you're preparing is for that level, that no matter what kind of a changes a person tries to bring in your pattern, he cannot shake your entire foundation. Okay, so that's done. This is the lockdown time is a beautiful time for you because you do not have anything else to do. Yeah, schools are starting online classes, but you know how the schools are starting online classes. The teachers themselves are trying to understand what is online. So you have enough time. Okay? So that's a beauty of technology. Sometimes it makes a wise person also fool. So coming into that, Gyan Byazi ho gaya, let's start, right? So I'm trying to do something else today, in the sense, I'm trying to focus between two windows. So I'll be sharing my screen between two windows. One which has a presentation which carries the concepts of whatever we're going to learn today. And one is a whiteboard where we will try to solve the examples. Okay. Anyone has any doubt, please throw it in the chat box. And Rimjin, please help me getting that doubt, because my screen will be always into the shared part. I will not be able to see the chat.
Sure, sir.
And if you all find my lip moving for more than a minute, but not listening to me or hearing me out, then rest assured my audio has gone. Okay, so wave to me. Clear with this? Give me a thumbs up if you have understood it. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. So I'm going to share my screen now. And where do I share it from? So I share it from here. Great. Okay. So the kind of topic that we are going to discuss today is on numbers, and numbers as such is used in most of the exams. Starting from, you have NIFT, NID, UCEED, you have law entrance examinations that many students like to write, because this also requires a lot of those extra thinking abilities. Then BBM, that is BBA, that is management entrance examinations, and hotel management, where hospitality people are likely to go. So as said, my name is Anand. I teach at Pahel, Bangalore, and part of Ignite Education's reach that we are doing. So now let's start with numbers. So what are we going to talk in numbers? We are going to talk about introduction to numbers, rational numbers and its properties, prime numbers and its properties. Squares we had done yesterday, right? Now, so though we had touch base to this, we will again start. How do you classify numbers? So numbers are basically classified as real numbers and imaginary numbers. Okay. Now, imaginary numbers, if we remember, was nothing but I, which is equal to root of -1, right? And I was called as iota. But imaginary number is not part of any competitive entrance examinations, which is generic in nature. Okay, we will not go much into it. Just understand. Exams like IIT and NEET are specific in nature because only set of students like that. Whereas exams like NIFT, NID, or any other entrance examinations that you're talking are generic in nature because any kind of a background of a student can write this exam. So when the exams are generic, imaginary numbers are out of syllabus. Now coming to real numbers. What's real number? Real number can further be classified as rational and irrational numbers. Post this is when the other set of classifications begin. Okay. Now, on a basic terminology, if I have to define a rational number, we know that a rational number is a number which can be written in the form of P by Q, where both P and Q should be integer, okay, and Q should not be equal to 0. So that's a basic condition here, that both P and Q should be an integer and Q should not be equal to 0. Whereas irrational number is a number which cannot be written in the form of P by Q. Means here one of the value will not be an integer. Okay, one of the value will not be an integer or cannot be written in the form of P by Q in a simple way. Let's keep this. Now, so let's understand what a rational number is. We said rational number is a number which can be written in the form of P by Q, where Q is not equal to 0. So if I have to put an example, I know that 7 is a rational number because 7 can be written as 7 by 1. 1 by 3 is a rational number, right? 2 by 4 is a rational number. 5 by 2 is a rational number. So all these numbers are rational numbers because they can be written in the form of P by Q. Now the other way of defining a rational number is through the word recurring or terminating. Now what do we mean by this? When I take a number like 1 by 3 and take its decimal form, I know that 1 by 3 is 0.33. Or if I take 1 by 2, I know 1 by 2 is 0.5. Likewise, I take, let's say, 7 by 2, I know 7 by 2 is 3.5. Now, what do we mean? That once I take a number in its decimal form, right? When I look at the number in its decimal form, so let's say 10 by 6, I know 10 by 6 is 1.6666, correct? Yeah, so 1.666. Now, so when I look at the decimal form, either the decimal form is recurring, which means the digits are repeating itself, or the decimal form is terminating. So which means after the decimal point, the digits are terminated. They stop, right? So when you find that a number falls in one of these two categories, then they become either recurring or terminating, which in turn means that they are in the P by Q form, and thus they become part of rational numbers. So let's look at certain examples of rational numbers here. So I know that 0.333 is a rational number. And so I also know that if I write 0.12222, they are also rational numbers, right? 0.232323, they are also rational numbers, whereas 0.23454545, this is also rational. What is the difference between the two of them, the four of them that you see, right? You will see that on the left-hand side, after the decimal point, every digit, set of digits, right? Every set of digit is repeating. Whereas on the right-hand side, post the decimal point, there is a number or a digit which is not repeating, and rest all the digits are following a pattern. So either you have a pure form or you have a mixed form. There can be no other form of a rational number. Either it will be a pure form or it will be a mixed form. Done? So now, understanding further. So we all now agree that 1 by 3 is a rational number. We agree that 1 by 6 is also a rational number. We agree that 2 by 3 is also a rational number because they all are in the P by Q form. So they have a decimal form, which means 1 by 3 is 0.333. 1 by 6 is 0.1666. 2 by 3 is 0.6666. Okay. So they are either pure or mixed, but they are recurring numbers. So now, if someone tells me, okay, 0.55555, is this in recurring form? I would say yes, they are in. This is in recurring form, right? Because it is, yeah, this is in recurring form because every digit is repeating. So if it is a recurring form, then it means that it is a P by Q value because every number that's recurring is a rational number. So what would be the P by Q value of this then, right? Or someone says that you have 0.242424, right? All where 24 is repeating itself. So it is basically a pure recurring number, so it should have a P by Q form. So what is the P by Q form of this, right? So the easiest way of converting them is see for a fact that how many digits, listen to this carefully, how many digits after the decimal point is repeating. So if you see there is only one digit which is repeating itself, right? Write that digit in your numerator. I repeat, after the decimal point, look at what are the digits repeating. Write that digit in the numerator. And in the denominator, write 9. This 9 is based on number of digits in the numerator. If your numerator has one digit, in the denominator you will have 9. If the numerator has two digits, like in this case, there are two digits repeating itself, 2, 4 are the digits repeating. So the numerator will have two digits, which is 24. Denominator will now have 2 9s because in my numerator there are two digits. If someone tells me 0.123, 123, 123, and so on, I have 3 digits repeating. So in my numerator there will be 3 digits and denominator will be 3 9s. Right? I hope I'm not able to see your screen, so but I'm still hoping that you are able to understand this. Okay, now, so this is the place where I have the decimal point and followed by repeating number. So someone might ask me saying that what happens if I do not have a repeating number or I have a mixed format? So what happens in this case, right? Because this is also recurring in terms of what we understood, mixed recurring number. So which implies that this also has a P by Q form. So if this has a P by Q form, then it should also, so basically I should be able to represent this in the P by Q form. So how do I represent this? Or for that, so I will just take this first before we get into something else. In this case, there is a small change, not a small change, there is a change compared to what I did in the previous case. This entire case was the easiest one, right? Write the number of digits in the numerator followed by number of 9s in the denominator. But here there is a small change, and this is what something you have to be careful and listen. Make a note of it if required. In my numerator, First, I will write all those digits which are unique after the decimal point. So in this case, it is 0.23333. So I write 2 and 3 are the two unique digits that I see after the decimal point, and so I write 23. From this unique digit, I subtract the digit which is not repeating. From this unique digit, I subtract the digit which is not repeating. Now this becomes my numerator. Okay, so I repeat again. I will take another example for all of you. Let's say 4, 5 is repeating, 2, 1 is not repeating. I will write all the unique digits in my numerator. 2, 1, 4, 5. From this, I subtract the digit which is not repeating. So I do not subtract 2 and 1. I subtract 21. So I create them as a number. So this becomes my numerator. Now let's look at what happens in the denominator. Now in denominator, I have to see how many digits are repeating. I have to first see how many digits are repeating. So there is only one digit repeating, that is 3 is repeating itself. So I will write 19. Because there is one digit repeating, I will write 19. In my second example, there are 2 digits repeating, and so I will write 2 9s. I hope you have understood till here. But this is not over yet. After I write these 9s based on whether one digit is repeating, 2 digits are repeating, or 3 digits are repeating, I will have to follow it up based on zeros. Okay, I have to follow it up based on zeros. How many 0? This 0 is dependent on how many digits are not repeating. The 0 is completely dependent on how many digits are not repeating. So there is one digit not repeating, so 1 0. There are 2 digits which is not repeating, and thus I will have 2 zeros. If there are 3 digits not repeating, I will have 3 zeros. I hope you are clear, right? One last example here I will do. Let's say I have 0.315555, right? So I realize that 315 are the unique digits here. I subtract 31 from it. That becomes my numerator. Basically, I subtract the digits which are not repeating. Now denominator. How many digits are repeating? One digit is repeating itself. So 19. And how many digits are not repeating? 2 digits are not repeating, and thus 2 zeros. So this becomes the P by Q form of this particular number. Now there can be a lot of other variations coming in. Okay, there can be a lot of other variations coming in. For example, I hope you're clear here. So let's come to this. Variations in the sense. Someone may give me what is 1 plus, right, 2.315 and so on. Okay, now you can basically write this as straightforward as 3.315555 and so on, right? Now how do I convert this into a P by Q form? So what we can do here is we can take this integral value 3 separate, and what am I left with? 0.31555. This is what I'm left with, correct? This is what we did last time. We understood in the previous slide. What is this? All the unique values minus all the values that are not repeating, numerator, divided by 9 based on because one digit is repeating, followed by 2 zeros because 2 digits are not repeating. And so it becomes 315 minus 31 divided by 900. And whatever value I get here in the P by Q form, that value gets added to 3. So 3 plus whatever value I get. Clear with this? So this is how we work on the P by Q form. Okay. Anyone has a question can actually raise now. You can unmute your question if you have a doubt, or you want me to repeat something, I can repeat also. Rimjim, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Okay, because so, इतना सन्नाटा तो लाइफ में कभी नहीं सुना था मैंने.
No, it's they're listening. I concentrating.
Okay. Right. So shall we go ahead? Please give a thumbs up to Rimjim if we can go ahead. Rimjim, you can't give me thumbs up. You have to tell me. I can't see you.
Okay, people are giving thumbs up.
Right.
Upama, Anushka,
Right. So I hope you are clear.
Hazar.
Now, so we can proceed. Okay. So is there a chat? Someone has asked something.
No.
Okay.
They just sent a like.
Right. So Divya has just given a thumbs up. Great, guys. So yeah, now I can see you also. Great. I have opened it up. Okay. So now these are your rational numbers. So now let's quickly understand what do we mean by non-recurring, non-terminating. So let's take a number. So let's take random values. Or you guys can create these values. Okay. No rocket science here. So let's say 0.2, 3, 7, 4, 5, 6, 1, 3, 2, 8, 1, 7, 3, 2. So I just keep creating values. So do you realize that post the decimal point, there is no pattern here? There should have been some pattern, right? Which you can identify, which you can say कि 9 के बाद यही digit आएगा. You don't have a pattern here. And neither the values are stopping or terminating somewhere. So when you do not find a pattern, nor you find a value terminating itself, these kinds of values are called as irrational numbers. So the easiest way of identifying the two is rational numbers should give you a pattern. मतलब लॉजिक समझ में आना चाहिए कि इसके बाद यही डिजिट आएगा. Whereas irrational number will never give you a pattern. कि लॉजिक ही समझ में नहीं आएगा तुम्हें. So that's how you bifurcate these two values, rational and irrational. So remember that square root, remember this, that square root of any prime number is irrational. Or you can put, rather than any, you can put every. Square root of every prime number is irrational. Irrational number. Okay? So that's what non-recurring and non-terminating are. I hope you guys are making notes. Now, so once we reach rational numbers, this is where rational numbers gets further described into what we have always learned, and that is natural numbers, whole numbers, and integers. Okay, this is where the numbers start, or the entire portion of integers or rational numbers gets defined. Now, if you ask anyone what is a natural number, the easiest example or definition you will get is any number starting from 1, 2, 3 all the way till infinity. This is a natural number definition. But frankly speaking, this is not a natural number definition. Okay? Natural number definition is anything that can be physically counted. Anything that can be physically counted. Unfortunately, I cannot count 0 because it's empty, and thus my counting begins only from 1. Okay, and then I can count 2, then I can count 3, and so far. Unfortunately, again, I cannot count infinity because infinity is a value given for uncountable numbers. So infinity, when someone says 1 to infinity set of natural numbers, it's absolutely wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. all numbers which can be counted, physically counted. Okay, those are natural numbers. Now, what do you mean by whole numbers? This word has the meaning. The word whole in itself has a meaning of complete. So a whole number is a number which is complete in itself, and an empty space is complete in itself. Okay, so 0 becomes part of a whole number, and thus your whole number starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. You cannot break 0 into parts. You cannot break anything into any part. So it's a complete number by itself. So for example, if you guys are using a pen with a cap, right? Close the pen with the cap and now open the cap and the pen. So when you close the pen with the cap, how many objects do you have in your hand? 1. Now open the cap and the pen. How many objects do you have in your hand? 2. You don't say I have 1/3 and 2/3 objects, though both of them are part of the same object, which means that you cannot, even if you break it, they individually are complete in itself, and thus they always become a part of whole numbers. Okay? Clear? Right. Now coming to integers. So we all, I'm sure many of you know what integers are. Integers are basically numbers when I start giving positive and negative sign to set of whole numbers, where 0 is basically neutral. So when I give positive sign, so integers is what we usually draw in a number line. Remember, 0 यहाँ पे आएगा, 1, 2, 3 all on the right hand side, -1, -2, -3 all on the left hand side. So this becomes 0 becomes a neutral where I have negative on the left and positive on the right, and thus it becomes integers. Now people play a lot even in this kind of questions. Okay, people play a lot even in this kind of a question. For example, I want you guys to tell me this, that I have given you numbers starting from -10, -9, all the way till +9 and +10. Okay, so now is where I want you guys to start using chat, all of you. Quickly tell me, how many numbers do you have in your hand? How many integers do you have in your hand? Indirat, Sanjay, Anushka, you have from -10 all the way till +10. Ayushi, you have from -10 all the way till +10. So how many numbers do you have? Right, so as most of you said, you have 24 integers. I had asked how many integers, so you have 21 integers. Okay, not 0, 21 integers you have. Now, don't type anymore, anybody. The next question to you all will be, how many of these integers?
Anand, I'm sorry I'm disturbing you. This session is about to end. Can all of you, if you are listening to me, just rejoin, please?
Yes, ma'am, we will.
Okay. Please, everyone,
And
just rejoin this link again. Okay.
click on the same link.
Yeah, click on the same link and rejoin.